This is the 2018 By now, we've all heard of the Dodge Demon Crate, the crate of goodies that comes right from Dodge, right from Mopar, FCA, that you can get when you buy a Demon for the big price of $1. And it comes with a whole lot of cool stuff, including a race ECM, so you can run race fuel. And it comes with skinny front tires, its own jack, and its own toolkit and things like that. So it's very neat. But did you know, like I said, we do know about the Demon Crate, but did you know you can get a Corvette crate from GM? Now, no, this is not a commercial for GM. This is not a paid infomercial here, but I do find it interesting. GM has not offered a cold air intake on a vehicle for, I think, like 25 or 30 years, something crazy. But they do want to get into kind of the aftermarket support game. We've seen this before, like Ford with SVT. You can get a lot of, you can get like a Ford racing exhaust. Even I think they do offer tunes for the EcoBoost Mustang and things like that. So Ford does it with SVT and Ford Racing. Dodge, of course, does it, and GM does not want to miss out. Toyota, another big one. They sell a lot of those TRD parts. Now, GM has always sold things like, running boards for your truck and visors and things like that. But as far as performance goes, this is kind of new. In this box is a GM cold air intake for Corvettes. Get this box from GM, right from them. Like I said, it's kind of neat. You can order it through your dealership. And the big advantage with a part like this right from the manufacturer is you don't have to worry about the warranty. Now, if you were to install an aftermarket cold air intake on your vehicle and you had an issue with the vehicle in some way, would they void your warranty? Well, they shouldn't, unless they can prove that that was directly related to the cold air intake. But still, a lot of people, especially like the older crowd, and this is not like I'm not bashing anybody, but a lot of the older guys, especially Corvette guys, they don't want to modify things because they do worry about the warranty. And this is a great option for them. It's going to give you a little bit extra performance, and we are going to dyno test it very soon, hopefully tomorrow, if the fucking weather ever clears up. It's not nighttime. It's in the afternoon here, and it's been so dark the last 2 days. I'm really sorry for the video quality. It's not good. I can't really drive. You're not really motivated to go out and do fun stuff when the weather is like this. But hopefully, if the weather does clear up tomorrow, we can dyno test this on the ZR1. Now, here's some interesting facts about this GM cold air intake. I mean, number one, the box is fucking sick, like I said. But on the LT1 Corvette, it flows 30% better. On the LT4 in the Z06, it flows, I think, 28% better. And in the ZR1, it flows 26% better. You can see that the flow decreases as the engine caliper goes up. I guess because maybe the Z06 intake and ZR1 intake is designed a little bit better than the LT1 Stingray or Grand Sport intake. But what's very fascinating to me is that with the LT1, you don't really pick up any power. GM apparently has tested this. You only get like a couple horsepower with the LT1. On the Z06, you get 11 horsepower, 11 horsepower on the Z06. I just had to check my stats real quick. Yes, you do get 11 horsepower extra with this intake for the Z06, and you get 17 extra horsepower with the ZR1. Now, 17 horsepower with a cold air intake, that's a pretty big increase and a rather large claim from GM, something I really do want to test. But as I've shown in my own videos, cold air intakes really do work if they have a great design. Like my friends over at Cold Air Inductions designed one for a Silverado pickup truck. We took it to the dyno, and we saw about a 20 horsepower and 20 pound-feet of torque gain. So, cold air intakes really do work. I should say they can work. Now, if you go down to your local Pep Boys and you buy a generic cold air intake, I can't guarantee you that you're going to see gains. In fact, you might lose horsepower. But a properly designed intake really can help your engine breathe better and therefore add some power. Now, with that all being said, let's unbox our GM intake here with our Corvette box. I think this is a really cool idea. And, I love the fact that GM is doing this. They have been missing out on the aftermarket. I think a lot of companies are missing out, even the companies that do things now like Ford. Sure, they offer, a little exhaust or whatever they do, but they're really missing out. They could be offering a lot more. Something else I think is interesting to note, you can see made in the USA, GM Accessories, General Motors. To find more info on this little Corvette box, I'll put a link in the description below, but let's go ahead and open it now. I also want to just show you guys this little thing you get with your ZR1 book that just kind of outlines all the cool stuff about your car and what makes the ZR1 special and all that stuff. You can see the specs here, and there you go. You get 755 horsepower, 212 mile per hour top speed, 1.2 Gs, 715 pound-feet of torque. See the airflow of the car. You can see the car when they were wind tunnel testing there. See the downforce. where the air goes. Pretty neat. If you have a Corvette, you can order this through your dealership as well, like I did with Whitmore Chevy. Let's see what we got here. So this is very interesting here. A performance part right from the manufacturer. Normally they don't want you to touch anything. They don't want you to modify it. And here is the cold air intake. That looks pretty badass. So it is it feels like a dry filter, which doesn't surprise me. We know that dry filters tend to work better with new cars because of the mass airflow sensor. The oils from an oiled intake can get on that and screw things up. I would not recommend an oiled intake on a new car, an oiled filter. You always want to get a dry filter for new vehicles. That's my personal opinion. I'm sure some will disagree. Little screen there, you can see the filter, and it's got the Jake logo frosted into the plexiglass plastic screen there. Very cool. Very cool. Looks really badass. Looks great. Oh, and I was looking for a tube, but that's it. There is no tube. It's just that's all you get. There's that section with the filter and the little housing there. And here's some installation hardware. You got little zip ties, and you have a little badge here that says, if you can see that, GM, or it says performance with the little bow tie. The thing to think about is we already put on a Corsa X pipe on this car. Now we will, which deletes the secondary cats. Now we will put on the stock X pipe to do the intake test, just so that we're working with a 100% stock car, and we will do a before and after dyno just to make sure everything's good to go. But it'll be interesting to see if you do the Corsa X pipe, which showed about a 20 horsepower gain, and then you put on this and you really get 20 horsepower. You're talking about like a 720 wheel horsepower car with an intake, an X pipe, totally retains the factory warranty, no tuning involved. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But here is the stock one. See, there are definite differences in the overall design. I think the window is a really cool touch. So really the only thing you're changing is the actual filter itself, and the housing is a little bit different. The neck here, the neck where it opens up into the tubing, is a lot bigger as well. What I wouldn't give to live in a place where it's sunny all the time. I could actually drive one of my cars. I think this is really cool, like I said, and this is just opening the door. You know, this could be the first step, but imagine if you get an intake, you get an exhaust, you get maybe a mild tune. That would really be awesome for those guys who don't want to void the warranty, don't want to go all out, but they want a little bit more power or sound, and they want a little bit more, I don't know what you would say, intense experience. Modifying a car is always fun. I mean, it's what makes a car enthusiast, right? Your car has to be in some way a little bit different from the next guy. So a car manufacturer taking advantage of this is just great business, and something that I think a lot of people are really going to enjoy. The Corvette box might not be quite as crazy as the Demon Crate, but it's a step in the right direction and something I think is very neat. This is the 2018 Buick Regal all-wheel drive Tour X. Now, when I first saw this wagon here at the dealership at Whitmore Chevrolet, I immediately was kind of fascinated by it because I had never seen one before. I'm going to start with the quirks and features, and then I'm going to take it on a short drive, and I'm going to let you know what I think of this very Subaru-esque Buick. Now, the base price of this vehicle is $32,000, and the total options is about $4,300, bringing the total price up to $37,870. But you get a lot of standard features. For instance, daytime running lamps, LEDs, you get headlamp control automatic on-off. You also get a teen driver as standard equipment. No, that doesn't say teen driver system or teen driver key. It says just teen driver. Noise control system, active noise cancellation, which I think is very neat, and we're definitely going to check that out. Something you might not know about this vehicle is that it is based on an Opel Insignia. In fact, it is an Opel Insignia, and GM basically puts on Buick badges, brings it over here, and sells it as a Buick. But there are some signs that still let you know it is in fact an Opel. For instance, right here inside of the driver's door is a little sticker like a lot of cars have, but you can see there it says manufactured by Opel Automobile. Another detail that lets you know this is in fact an Opel is the fact that the speedometer goes up to 180. Now I know it says miles per hour on there, but this is undoubtedly the same gauge cluster they use in other markets, so therefore it should really say kilometers per hour. I don't think anybody at GM thought that this car could actually do 180, so that's definitely kilometers, and they just put in a little mile per hour badge. Being a wagon, as you would expect, there is a lot of rear space, although oddly enough, no third row seat, so it really doesn't offer any more seating than a normal sedan, like a lot of wagons would. And underneath here, you don't get a spare tire. No, it kind of looks like a small spare tire, but what this is the Bose active noise canceling device system, which is some type of speaker that somehow cancels road noise. Good news is there is plenty of room here in the back of the car if you are an average sized person, and if you need even more room, you can fold the seats up. You can really stretch out and relax. I am laying all the way down in my Buick Tourex wagon. Quite comfortable. I can even put the shade up. I don't want anyone disturbing me. Shade is also adjustable. You can leave it down here if you have low cargo, or you can adjust it up if your cargo is a little bit taller. You can also adjust a myriad of things in the infotainment center, like chime volume. You can make that louder, but it doesn't demonstrate it, so I don't really know how loud it's gonna be. That wasn't that loud. Exit lighting, 30 seconds, 60 seconds, or 120 seconds. I want my light all the time. So you can adjust left-hand traffic. Ooh, that is loud. Or right-hand traffic. You can choose between corner and curve lighting or intelligent lighting. One more interesting thing is that there's a lot of buttons up here, but none of them have anything on them, and they don't do anything. So I'm not sure if this car just doesn't have the options or if all of them are like that, but I wouldn't think there's that many options you can put right here. We have the parking sensor option. We have that. And we have nothing else. You know, this is such an odd choice for Buick, and I feel like GM looked at their portfolio and said, we don't have a single wagon really in the United States. Let's at least have one so that we can say we have one. And that's how this car got here, because I'm not sure where the demand was for a Buick wagon, but I have to say it's actually kind of it's a cool vehicle. I mean, it looks, it's very much to me seems like a Subaru. That's what it is. It's kind of like a competitor to the Subaru. It's a little bit more luxurious. Great turning radius as well for an all-wheel drive car. That's actually insanely tight. This is not a real Doug video, so we can't give it a Doug score, but I would imagine it wouldn't score very well. It would probably do very well in the daily category, but the weekend category, I can't really find any redeeming qualities. It's got no cool factor. It's not really fun to drive. It's of really no significance in the car world. These are the qualities you look for in the weekend category. Hope that you guys enjoyed this upload. If you are stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. Take care. Have a great day.